So yeah, that's exactly what you could put on this bike on like the marketing. Best at gravel. Out of all the gravel bikes I've ridden, this is the best at gravel. And yeah, that about sums up the Canyon Grizl. So for a quick overview of the Canyon Grizl, this bike is full carbon, comes with the SRAM Rival electronic system, SRAM Rival brakes, it comes with some DT Swiss wheels and hubs, pretty reliable, kind of basic wheels there, comes with the Schwalbe G1 tires, not my favorite tire. The rest of the items are kind of Canyon specific, but I find for kind of like a mid-level spec, this is a great mid-level bike, and you can find really good deals on it.
So here's the thing, I really like the Grizl. From a value perspective, you get a lot of bike, great engineering, reliable stuff, and they're not that expensive. Right to your door, you know, that great Canyon direct-to-consumer model. As a gravel bike, the Grizl is really good. It wants to ride rough, comes with wide tires, gives you a lot of confidence in all of the different areas that you would ride a gravel bike. And the thing that's hard for me on the Grizl, it's like your Toyota Camry or your Toyota 4Runner of gravel bikes. Really good, really reliable, great brand name, but not a very exciting interior, not the funnest driving experience. You know what I mean? You buy a Toyota for value and reliability. And that's what I feel like for the Grizl. As a gravel bike, this bike is great. Checks all the categories, holds a wide tire, it has mounting points, it rides really well on the gravel. Like, you can't go wrong with it. If you are getting started in gravel, this is the bike for you. You can find a good deal on it, and it'll treat you well as a gravel bike. What I found is a lot of the other gravel bikes I've ridden, for me personally, end up becoming multi-purpose bikes. So I ride it as, you know, a semi-mountain bike, a road bike, a gravel bike. So I like bikes that, or at least I like gravel bikes that serve a variety of categories. There's a full review of my Crux in my channel, but that Crux is like the best multi-purpose bike. You can literally ride that bike in any terrain and get away with it, and it's still fun in any terrain, whereas the Grizl is a gravel bike. And that's really the only place it wants to ride. It's not very fun on the road. It doesn't go fast on the road. It's not very fun on like really smooth gravel roads, just like a semi-rough. It's at home on gravel riding. For all intents and purposes, a very gravel bike. The most gravelly gravel bike that I've ridden.
This Grizl is the bike that I've ridden the most recently out of all my gravel bikes, mainly because it's finally nice weather so I can ride outside a lot. And it works really well in gravel riding. That's what I've been riding it almost exclusively, is a lot of gravel riding. And from that perspective, it works really well. Now, if you were to say like, hey, I want you to sell all your other bikes and use this permanently as like your one bike, ooh, that would hurt, and I would have a hard time with that because I do ride with roadies. And when I go riding with road bikers, I do switch the pedals out and I put the pedals on my Crux, mainly because those guys are fast, this bike is slow, I'm slow, so I need that extra little edge to keep up with them. This would ride on the road, but it's just not quite as quick as some of the other gravel bikes that I've ridden. Now, if you're thinking of this Grizl as like your dedicated gravel bike and that's all you're gonna ride, and you wanna do bike packing and you wanna do rough terrain and you wanna spend all day in the saddle, this is a great bike for that. I would almost give this bike edge over the Diverge. I have a full review on the Diverge in this channel as well. Feel free to check it out. But this is a good bike for gravel riding. Like, for the money I spent on it, you get great components, you get a good build, full carbon frame. It handles gravel really well. You can run the tires on a low pressure. It just checks all those boxes as far as a gravel bike. Like I said, this is the most gravelly gravel bike that I've ridden.
But the Grizl feels really at home on rough, technical terrain. Like stuff I would normally avoid on the Diverge or on the Crux or on any other gravel bikes, like I do not mind on this bike at all. You don't feel out of place. Like it's definitely rough, like it's not a smooth ride, but you can do totally fine on it. You can ride this bike wherever you would like. Yeah, see, like this section right now, it's pretty dry, it's pretty loose. This is really steep and rough, and I mean, I would say this bike rides almost comparable to like a hardtail or a cross-country bike, obviously without the handlebars. You had the drop bars do require a lot of finesse on these bikes so you don't crash going down steep stuff, but this Grizl is very capable. So the pros, the things I like about this bike, the German engineering is number one. Canyon has done a great job of labeling every little bolt so you know what bolt to use, the torque specifications. So if you were to add anything to the bike, if you want to make it a 2x, they've labeled it. Where you would normally have your seat post clamp bolt, they've made that clean and neat and actually tucked it behind here. They've put a little plate here where you normally flip wood up or flip mud and dirt up. This will protect the frame long term. So it's really cool, and I see them think about every little detail on the bike, and that's definitely what you get with German engineering. The other thing I like is all the mounting points on this bike. This bike has a ton of mounting points. So if you want to ride bike packing, which I've taken this bike packing and it's been super fun. This bike has it all, and it'll support up to a 50 mil tire. So it'll support a really wide tire, which if you're gonna ride, you know, all day rough gravel, I think a 45 to a 50 is right where you wanna be for like a really comfortable experience. So some of the things I don't like about this Canyon Grizl, number one is this handlebar. This is like a very stock, basic handlebar. And although it works fine, like you could call it again, like the Toyota of handlebars, a lot of the gravel bikes now come with bends in the bars and the flares sit out a little bit more, and you can tuck your shifters in and get really kind of an ergonomic look. This is like a 2015 road bike bar. It's just straight and wide. There's nothing special about it. You can obviously upgrade this. Another thing I don't like about this bike, this comes with the Schwalbe G1 gravel tires. I really don't like them. They're 45s and they just don't grab very well. So one, these tires are slow on the road. They're sluggish. So you think like, okay, they're sluggish, so they'll be a great gravel tire. They're not a great gravel tire either. They're too round with not enough knobs. So they're really round, but they don't grab anything. So you end up just sliding off everything because they're so round. It's like riding around on a unicycle or a bouncy ball. They just don't grab very well, and it makes kind of a slippery experience. I found my Specialized Pathfinders, although they're not as big, they're not round, and I find they cut into the dirt better, and they have less knobs than these. So not a fan of the tires. I always say the Grizl is your closest gravel bike to like a full-on cross-country mountain bike that you can get. So out of all the gravel bikes that I've ridden, this is the one that mimics or feels closest to a mountain bike than any other bike. The Diverge, the Crux, some of the other bikes I've ridden, they have like a unique gravel feel to them. Not quite a mountain bike feel, where the Grizl, definitely, if you had a suspension fork on this, it would definitely feel like a mountain bike. It rides like a mountain bike with drop bars. And you can ride it rowdy, you can ride it rough and gnarly and technical, and it does really well. So from that perspective, like if you are, hey, I want a mountain bike that's really efficient and rides like a gravel bike, this is pretty good. This is probably as good as it gets as far as gravel. I suspect after riding this Grizl for as long as I have, going to any other gravel bikes is going to be disappointing just because they don't perform as well as this bike does. This bike on the gravel performs really well, and any other bike is probably going to be a letdown. Like compared to the other bikes I've ridden, this is the most adventure fun gravel bike. with its limitations in other categories, right? Not a great road bike. It doesn't ride on like smooth gravel very quick or efficient either, but from like a rough gravel perspective, this thing is a lot of fun. Yeah, honestly, that would be my big report on the Grizl. The Grizl wants to ride rough terrain. It wants to ride technical terrain. And it'll give you the confidence and the control to do that, where some of these other gravel bikes just don't quite meet. Like they'll go on gravel, they'll go on rough, but you're definitely holding on for dear life. This is the most gravelly gravel bike I've ridden. Again, I refer to it always as the tank. Tanks are not smooth, but they plow through anything on this bike. I've had a lot of fun on the Grizl. I've taken it places that I have not taken other gravel bikes. This bike by far has gone down the rowdiest trails, the gnarliest, the most technical. Other areas where I wouldn't even consider taking a gravel bike and I would only take my mountain bike, I've taken this bike. I've gotten it off and said like, yeah, this bike will do that rough stuff. But at the same time, anytime I go riding with my buddies and we're gonna go on the road and we're gonna go up like a long canyon ride, I don't grab this bike. And that's fine. I don't think that's what this bike was intended for. This bike is a all-purpose gravel bike. That's what it was built for. And on gravel, works really well. Checks that box, clean. The most gravelly gravel bike I've ridden does really well. So if you want a gravel bike, you want value, you want good components, you want reliability, you want your Toyota 4Runner of gravel bikes, then this is that bike.